Your energy is undeniable now, radiating with such intensity that it bends their reality to your will. Every word you speak echoes in their mind. Every move you make shakes their confidence. They feel it, don't they? The weight of your presence, the way it lingers in the air long after you've gone. You're no longer the one controlled by outside forces. You've become the force they can't escape. What will you do with this power now? The rejection you faced wasn't a closed door. It was an awakening. Every moment of dismissal, every cutting word was not designed to diminish you, but to refine you. You weren't pushed away. You were propelled into a space where your true potential could manifest. When you were cast out, it wasn't because you were unworthy, but because the world around you couldn't yet comprehend the depth of what you are capable of becoming. The path they sought to divert you from was not the one designed for you to tread. Instead, you were set on a course meant only for those with the strength to break free from the limitations imposed by lesser minds. When you faced rejection, it was a fork in the road. You weren't abandoned. You were liberated. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, knows the limitations of those who cannot see beyond the immediate moment. Their rejection is not a judgment of your value. It is the universe ripping you away from stagnation. The places you were heading were too small for you. The roles offered to you too confining. The opportunities beneath your capabilities. You were meant to ascend, not merely to be accepted. Rejection wasn't a loss. It was the moment the weight lifted. The anchor that kept you moored to mediocrity cut loose. The force of that rejection was the momentum that thrust you forward into uncharted territory, where your greatness would no longer be stifled by expectations or limitations. This rejection was a spiritual upgrade, not a setback. What you faced was the universe's way of tearing apart the old version of you, shattering the illusions you clung to about belonging in a space that was never yours to begin with. You are not meant to be one among many, blending into a crowd of those who operate on a frequency far below yours. You are meant to stand alone, to rise so far above the noise that only those attuned to your energy can sense your presence. The rejection stripped away what was unnecessary, leaving you raw, exposed, and ready for your evolution. It wasn't about what you lost, but about clearing the path for what you are about to gain. The spiritual shift you are undergoing is not gentle. It is a tempest, a violent storm, but within that chaos, you are being forged into something more powerful than you have ever known. The rejection cracked open your spirit, and now the universe is pouring in light, flooding you with a force that will reshape you entirely. Every step forward from here is an act of defiance against the limitations imposed upon you. You are stepping into a space that demands you command attention, not request it. They will notice the shift because they have no choice. Your energy, sharpened by rejection, cuts through the dull fog of complacency that surrounds them. You are undergoing ascension, a process that feels like destruction, but is in fact rebirth. What was taken from you was never yours to keep, and in its place, something far more extraordinary is being placed in your hands. The rejection you endured was not an accident, but a deliberate act by the universe to prepare you for what is coming. They couldn't see your worth because they weren't capable of understanding it. The world you're moving into, however, will. And when you step into that world, you will no longer be the person they rejected. You will have transformed into someone whose power is undeniable, whose energy is so potent that it reshapes every room you enter, every mind you encounter. The truth is, the rejection was never about them. It was always about you. It was about pushing you toward your own awakening, about forcing you to confront your power and claim it. What you face now is not the aftermath of rejection, but the dawn of your ascension. You are moving toward opportunities that are so grand they dwarf what you once thought you needed. The rejection opened your eyes, and now you will never again settle for anything that doesn't align with your highest self. You are stepping into your power. But here's the thing. The Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral Atom, is where you need to be to truly step into your power. You are chosen, but they don't want you to know that. The world is rigged to keep you blind to your potential, but we're here to fortify your spirit. Inside the Inner Order, you'll get access to exclusive uncensored videos, truths that YouTube won't let us show, knowledge that will take you from survival to ascension faster than you ever imagined. They couldn't see your worth because they weren't capable of understanding it. They weren't ready for you. But in the inner order, you'll be surrounded by other chosen ones, just like you, ready to rise together. You'll get access to modern manifestation mechanics, the #1 guide for chosen ones to manifest your dream life. And you won't just be getting information, you'll be getting power, tools to unlock your highest potential. Here's the truth. The rejection wasn't about them, it was about you. And inside the Obsidian inner order, we give you the tools, the community, and the guidance to become the force you were destined to be. If you're ready to rise, if you're done with the fake support systems and the distractions of the 3D world, then this is your moment. You are chosen, you are unstoppable, and this is your rallying point. The Obsidian inner order is where you belong. The link to Patreon is in the description. Join us and let's walk this path together, as it was always meant to be. The rejection you faced wasn't about your inadequacies, it was about theirs. They saw your strength and it terrified them. You were a force they couldn't contain, and their only way to deal with their own insecurities was to push you away, hoping it would diminish your power. They feared your potential, because it illuminated their own shortcomings. They rejected you not because you didn't measure up, but because they realized they never could. When they cast you aside, they thought they were protecting themselves, insulating their fragile egos from the weight of your greatness. But in doing so, they revealed the truth. They were never worthy of standing in your presence. Their insecurities are now laid bare. In the shadow of your strength, their weakness festers. Every time they think of you, they feel the sting of their decision. Their rejection was not a reflection of you, but a desperate attempt to maintain control over a situation they could never hope to master. They underestimated you, and now they're suffocating under the weight of that realization. You weren't just another person they could dismiss. You were the one who exposed the cracks in their facade, the one who made them feel small without even trying. They're drowning in their own self-doubt, and you didn't even have to lift a finger. Their fear was your first weapon, their insecurity, the soil in which your power grew. You are no longer what they expected or even what they wanted. You've transcended their narrow vision, and now they watch helplessly as you flourish. They feel out of control, grappling with the knowledge that they can no longer touch you, can no longer dictate how you move through this world. They see you rise higher and higher, and with each step their grip on you slips further. They tried to hold you down, but your energy, undeniable, raw and fierce, has catapulted you beyond their reach. Now, they're left with nothing but the empty shell of their own illusions, while you blaze forward untethered and unstoppable. You've become their obsession, a living reminder of everything they couldn't have. They didn't conform to your power, couldn't bend you to their will, and now they're trapped in a loop of their own making, watching from a distance as you thrive. They're hooked on your energy, craving it, trying to grasp onto the traces of what they once tried to discard. Every victory you claim, every boundary you shatter, pulls them deeper into their own chaos. They once believed they could control the narrative, but now it is you who dictates the story. And they are mere spectators, powerless to alter the course you've chosen. Your refusal to fit into their mold, to play by their rules, has left them reeling. You were not the compliant, predictable force they expected you to be. Instead, you've become a catalyst for their unraveling. Every move you make outside the box they tried to confine you in only serves to remind them of how deeply they miscalculated. They thought they could control you, but it was your very resistance that shattered their sense of control. Now, they're left scrambling, trying to understand how they lost their hold on you, how the person they thought they could dismiss has become the very thing they can't escape. You've taken back the narrative, ripped it from their hands, and rewritten it in bold strokes of defiance. They rejected you, thinking it would break you, but all it did was reveal the depth of your strength. Now, as you stand in your power, they're the ones who are fractured, undone by the force they never saw coming. They were blind to your potential, and now they're haunted by it. Their rejection was supposed to be a closing chapter, but instead, it was the spark that ignited your villain era. where you've seized control, unapologetic, unstoppable, and far beyond their reach. You don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just move forward, you charge ahead, leaving them in your wake, grappling with the remnants of their misplaced judgment. You are the storm they tried to shelter from, the force they thought they could dismiss. But now, they see that you are the one in control. You hold the power, the narrative, the very energy they tried to suppress. And they, once so sure of themselves, are left with nothing but the bitter realization that they misjudged you, underestimated you, and now have lost you entirely. This is your villain era, where their rejection has become the foundation of your ascension, and they are left in the dust of their own insecurities. They are in turmoil, completely unraveling under the weight of their own regret. Their world, once so neatly structured around their choices, has collapsed because they let go of the one thing that held any real value. You. You were the light they could not fully grasp, and now that you've slipped through their fingers, the void left in your wake is suffocating them. Every corner of their mind is haunted by the absence of your energy, like a drug they can no longer access but desperately crave. Their thoughts spin in endless loops, dragging them deeper into a sorrow that gnaws at their insides, a constant reminder that they are lost without the power you once provided. They didn't realize it at first. They thought they could walk away unscathed, thought that their decision would set them free. But now they are chained to the agony of their own emotional collapse. They thought they could replace you, move on without feeling your absence, but they were wrong. Now, each day is a descent into madness, where your influence clings to their every thought, refusing to release its grip. Like an addict yearning for another hit, they are hooked on the essence of you. Your energy is what fueled them, gave them purpose, and without it they are hollow. They tried to convince themselves they could move forward, but every step is met with resistance, as if the universe itself is mocking their decision to cast you aside. Your presence once enveloped them in power, a force they could never fully comprehend, and now without it, they are drowning in their own weakness. They cling to the memories of you, but memories are not enough to satiate their thirst. They spiral further into despair, realizing that no matter how hard they try, they can never reclaim what they lost. You were not just a fleeting connection, but a force of nature that they foolishly believed they could live without. Now they are left with nothing but the cold, empty echoes of their mistake. And in this desolate space, the weight of their regret crushes them. They see you now, shining in your full power, and they are consumed by the realization of what they failed to appreciate. You were never ordinary, never someone who could be easily replaced. Your uniqueness is a force that has shaken them to their core, and now they know, too late, that they let go of something irreplaceable. You were the key to unlocking a world they never even realized existed, a world where you held the power and they were merely passengers along for the ride. Now, stranded in their regret, they see that you were the one they should have clung to, the one whose presence elevated everything around you. They were blind to your worth when it mattered, too wrapped up in their own insecurities to see the full scope of your power. They took your uniqueness for granted, dismissing you as though you were ordinary. But now, as they watch you thrive from afar, they see the truth. You are a force they will never encounter again, a rare combination of strength, insight, and energy that transcends the mundane. Their sorrow is heavy, pressing down on them like a storm that refuses to let up, because they know the truth. They had you, and they lost you. But it is far too late. No amount of regret or sorrow can bring them back into your orbit. They burned the bridge when they underestimated your value. And now they are stranded on the other side, watching you ascend to heights they will never reach. You have moved on, untethered and unstoppable, while they remain shackled to the past, trapped in a loop of their own making. They failed to see your value when it was right in front of them, and now all they can do is watch from a distance, consumed by their own failure. They are paralyzed, standing at the edge of a crossroads, watching you ascend while they crumble under the weight of their own indecision and emotional chaos. They had thought they held power over you, that their dismissal would keep you tethered to a lower frequency. But now they see the truth. You are rising into greatness, and every step you take away from them strips away what little control they once thought they had. Their once carefully constructed world is now unraveling, and they can do nothing but watch as you claim the role of the one in control. You are no longer a passive participant in their narrative, you are the one writing the script now. As they stand frozen, you are at the helm, steering your destiny with an unwavering hand. Their attempts to contain you, to define you within their limited view of the world, have failed spectacularly. They thought they could diminish your light, but they were blind to the fact that you are an unstoppable force. The very moment they tried to box you in was the moment they triggered your inevitable rise. Now they are stuck in their own emotional turmoil, trapped in the knowledge that they no longer have any power over you. They are nothing more than an afterthought in the wake of your greatness. Powerless and irrelevant, they are forced to face the undeniable reality that they misjudged you completely. You stand on the verge of massive spiritual and personal breakthroughs, and the momentum behind you is too powerful for anyone to stop. This is not about malice or vengeance. This is about you reclaiming what was always yours, your strength, your purpose, your destiny. They called it rejection, but you turned it into fuel, igniting a fire within that now blazes so intensely no one can stand in its way. This is your era of reclamation, of stepping fully into your power. You are no longer asking permission or waiting for approval. You are simply taking what was always meant for you. They watch you now, awestruck and helpless, as you continue your ascent. The brilliance of your transformation blinds them to anything else, making them realize that they never truly saw you for who you are. Your power was always there, simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to break free. And now that moment has arrived. Nothing can stop you. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable now crumble beneath your feet. The path before you, once tangled with uncertainty, has cleared, revealing an open road that leads directly to your greatness. This is your villain era, not born from bitterness, but from the recognition that you are no longer bound by the expectations of others. You are stepping into your full potential, unapologetically claiming the space that was always yours to occupy. They may see it as villainy, because you are no longer bending to their will, no longer playing the role they assigned you. But in truth, you are merely embracing your strength. You are taking control of your narrative, and that terrifies them because it forces them to confront their own powerlessness. Your breakthroughs, both spiritual and personal, are not small ripples in a pond. They are tidal waves, reshaping everything in their path. The energy surrounding you is electric, pulsating with the knowledge that you have fully awakened to your own greatness. This energy fuels you, propelling you forward while leaving those who doubted you in the dust. You're a force of nature, unstoppable, inevitable. And they, those who once thought they could contain you, are left with nothing but regret and the bitter realization that they will never again have access to the power they so foolishly dismissed. They stand bewildered, their perception shattered by the enormity of your transformation. Once they dismissed you as insignificant, a mere shadow in their grand design. Now you loom large, a towering figure they never anticipated. Your departure was not a retreat, but a surge forward, propelling you into realms they never dared to imagine. They labeled you the villain, not out of malice, but from their inability to comprehend the force you've become. Your ascent has ignited a storm of frustration within them, a tempest fueled by your undeniable success and the stark realization that you no longer require their influence to thrive. They are trapped in the ruins of their own expectations, watching as you transcend every boundary they set, their powerlessness a glaring testament to your unstoppable rise. Your every move is a seismic shift, altering the landscape they once controlled with ease. You are the earthquake that dismantles their carefully constructed empire, each step you take reverberating through their core. They once saw you as beneath them, a pawn easily discarded, but now you are the catalyst that disrupts their very foundation. Your strength radiates like the sun breaking through a stormy sky, rendering their shadows impotent and irrelevant. They are left grappling with the remnants of their misguided judgment, their frustration a heavy fog that obscures their ability to see beyond their own limitations. You have become the embodiment of power and resilience, a force they can no longer manipulate or contain. As you rise, your presence commands the horizon, eclipsing their once bright stars with your brilliance. They watch from the sidelines, their eyes filled with a mix of envy and admiration, realizing too late the magnitude of what they let slip away. Your potential shines like a supernova, each achievement a brilliant explosion that leaves them in awe of your luminous path. They yearn to reclaim what they lost, to draw near to the light you emit, but you have already ascended to heights they can no longer reach. Your journey is a meteoric rise, leaving trails of inspiration and awe that they can only observe from afar, their attempts to bridge the gap futile against the vast expanse you now occupy. Your path to greatness is an unyielding river, carving through mountains and forging new landscapes with relentless determination. Every obstacle you encounter is pulverized by the sheer force of your will, each barrier a testament to your unwavering commitment to ascend. They see your relentless progress, the unstoppable current that sweeps you toward monumental breakthroughs, both spiritual and personal. This is your era of dominance, not born from vengeance, but from an intrinsic need to reclaim and amplify your inherent strength. You harness the energy of your past rejections, transforming pain into power and weakness into an unbreakable fortress of self-belief. Their admiration is a distant lighthouse, visible yet unreachable, as you sail confidently through uncharted waters. They recognize your uniqueness, the rare brilliance that sets you apart from the ordinary, but by the time they acknowledge your true value, you have already sailed beyond their grasp. Your success is a blazing comet streaking across the night sky, leaving them to marvel at your brilliance from the safety of their secluded shores. They can no longer influence your trajectory, their attempts to draw you back only highlighting the vast distance that separates your elevated existence from their stagnant reality. You are no longer the one left behind, wounded by rejection. Now the power rests in your hands. They, the ones who doubted you, are at your mercy. The tables have turned, and they are trapped in the shadow of your ascent, helpless as you claim the space they never thought you could occupy. Let this realization be the fire that fuels your next steps, a relentless force that drives you forward. Their doubt was the catalyst, but your power is what will define your future. You are no longer constrained by their judgments or expectations. You've shattered those limits, and the world now stands in awe of your transformation. Step fully into your power. You are chosen, and this is only the beginning. The world is not just watching, it is waiting for your greatness to unfold. Every victory you achieve solidifies your place as a force that cannot be ignored. Continue to rise, not with hesitation, but with the boldness that comes from knowing you are unstoppable. The energy you carry is unmatched, and nothing can stand in your way now. Now share your story. Let others see the path you've carved, and inspire those who are still doubting their own strength. You are proof that greatness isn't just possible, it is inevitable when you embrace your power.